Coffee Cuties, we are back with another banger. And today we are going to talk about hair dysmorphia in men. So let's just get right into it. So this video was inspired by a commenter who expressed in my comment section a while ago that they felt like the whole preference conversation came from Black women passing down their self-hate when it comes to their hair to their sons. So if you are the commenter who left this opinion, be sure to let yourself be known in the comment section so I can pin the comments. But just in case you don't know what the preference conversation is, it is basically the allegation that Black men prefer mixed women or Latino women, etc. So we are going to be addressing this talking point within the video today. I'm also going to be giving my opinion about where I feel like hair dysmorphia developed in men, where it comes from, how it shows up throughout their life, and some solutions we all can use to improve this issue. So let's just go ahead and start with the definition of hair dysmorphia. So hair dysmorphia is a symptom of body dysmorphic disorder, which is a mental health illness or condition rather, from a person basically obsessing with their perceived flaws. So in hair, when it comes to men, this may show up as, for example, thinking that your hair is thinning or balding, examples like that. But there's just so many type of examples when it comes to hair, but that's just a couple I can think of. But when it comes to the topic about hair dysmorphia in men, some people feel like the topic is dramatic or blown out of proportion, but I actually beg to differ, and I am going to explain why. So, have you ever been around a man and they never take off their hat? So, anytime you're around them, you always see them in a hat, and if you attempt to take that hat off, they are literally ready to fight you. And in my opinion, that would be hair dysmorphia, because they are obsessing over some perceived flaw that likely is not even there. And another thing within the Black community that we have is something called hat fishing. So hat fishing is basically where you may have met a man on a dating app or in real life, etc. But whenever you see this man, he always has his hat on, and you don't know what he looks like without the hat. And oftentimes, the hat is actually improving his look, similar to how women use makeup or extensions or whatever. They are basically using the hat as their quote unquote makeup. So it is hat fishing, because a lot of times the women feel like when they do take off their hat, they look like a different person, etc. There's also something called beard fishing as well. So when men grow out the thick beards, the Black men, they feel like when they shave it off, they look completely different. So it's beard fishing. But when it comes to where hair dysmorphia came from in men, I feel like it is a side effect of growing up in a society based off European beauty standards. So a lot of times the parents were forced to assimilate within the society, so they basically passed down their ideology to their children. So when it comes to little boys, they do oftentimes force them to get haircuts to appear to be quote unquote more acceptable. So growing up, little Black boys are typically taught a lot of negative stereotypes surrounding long hair and ungroomed hair as well. Some of these stereotypes include that long hair on boys is more feminine, also on men as well. Or some people go as far as to say that you look quote unquote homeless or like a hobo if you have longer hair, whether it's braids or locks. Or some people feel like they spread the stereotype that you're dirty or unclean. This kind of reminds me of Jay-Z, the rapper, because, now he kind of rocks his freeform locks. And I have seen different people all up in comment sections of various races talking about how now he is allegedly a billionaire, but yet he looks like a homeless man, all type of things when it comes to, again, men with longer hair. But our Blackness is often deemed as undesirable or inferior by society when we try to embrace it, but the hypocrisy comes in when we are literally mocked for it, but then next thing we know, the society and other races of people are rocking it. So This brings me the example of the Boosie fade or just the Lana fade, whatever you call it within your region. You can see examples going throughout the screen, but as we know, black men have been lining up their hair for as long as I can remember. It definitely dates back to the 90s at least when I was a little girl, but I'm sure it goes 80s, 70s, way back in history. If you can think about when the first time a lana exists, please leave it down in the comment section below. But nevertheless, this is a very popular style for black men when it comes to creasing up that line and just shaving their hair low, etc. But black men didn't get any type of praise for creating this hairstyle or nothing like that. It's just what they do. But when Travis Kelce, the white football player, which I did a video on him, by the way, twice on my channel, one under the divestment column and then one under the archetypes of white men, when he decided to rock what is called the Boosie fade now, because the rapper Boosie actually pretty much popularized this type of haircut, he was on Time Magazine, praised, etc. But again, when black men do it, it was just an everyday occurrence. It wasn't put on a pedestal at all. Once again, taking the sauce from black men and praising it when a white man does it. Now, Kelce did say, he went on to say that he didn't invent the haircut, which is somewhat commendable for him to do, because that would basically be, again, undermining black men of years and years and decades past, etc. He knew better not to do that, basically. But this also makes me think of the basketball player Kevin Durant, who chooses not to participate in the aesthetics or whatever. He just likes to play ball. He shows up with his hair how he feels like he wants to wear it, and a lot of people make fun of him. He makes the blogs and all type of stuff for not having the crispy Boosie fade or line up or whatever. But he it's just a lot of internalized texturism, especially this is unfortunately within black men, because they be the main ones calling out the fact that, oh, he doesn't have a lineup, he blah blah blah. I guess they can't accept the fact that he's not walking around with a hat on. He just basically embraces his hair however he chooses to be. So that is another example of hair dysmorphia I can think of, also internalized texturism. But when it comes to the whole black mom conversation, or parents in general, when it comes to the childhood of little black boys and black mothers in particular, speaking negatively about their hair and how it affects black boys. For example, calling their hair nappy or unmanageable, or throwing a perm or wig or weave on it, and basically molding the ideals surrounding hair, passing it on to their sons and also their daughters as well. So the sons will see their mothers also complain about doing their sister's hair if they have siblings, just all type of things. And we as black women, we do have to take some accountability for that by not improving the vocabulary rather when it comes to how we talk about our hair, not only to ourselves but to our children as well. Because oftentimes these same little boys, they go to school and then they start bullying little girls who have hair just like their moms and just like them. So it is basically contributing to this long cycle of hair dysmorphia, because these little boys are going to school talking about nappy hair or making fun of little girls, calling them bald-headed and all that stuff. And it is causing some insecurities within the girls as well. So we definitely, again, have to be more mindful of the vocabulary and how we just express how we feel about our hair. But as little black boys, when they grow older, I definitely want to address the fact that a lot of times they feel like the need to not have longer hair due to safety. So a lot of times parents push on the ideal of having shorter hair because they want them to conform so they don't stand out and basically stay out of harm's way. So we know the climate within the society when it comes to black boys and men and police and the killing of a lot of black boys and black men. Now, I don't really cover a lot of racial issues in this aspect, but I definitely want to add this to just give more context to the conversation, because black boys and black men deserve to live in a world and in a society where they don't have to fear the people that were set to protect them. But next, another area that a lot of black men are forced to conform and ultimately live up to some type of European standards that are not of their own, that may be contributing to hair dysmorphia, is if they choose to join the military. So as we know, the buzz cut is the hairstyle that you are forced to wear within the military, and this is regardless if you're a black man, white man, any race of men, etc. But also, when it comes to black men, they are forced to use razor blades to shave their beard. And fun fact, actually, because as we know, we have coily hair, the men and the women, when they use the razor blades, the ingrown hairs, because our hair is coily, it grows back that way. It was causing a lot of irritation and infections when it comes to black men. And the VA benefits actually pay them a percentage of benefits due to happen to struggle when it comes to shaving their face with razor blades. If you are in the military and you kind of have more information about exactly what that is called, etc., but I've talked to a couple black men in the military who has that benefit, so I do know a little bit about it. But the military actually discriminates against women as well. As I stated in another video, they basically were saying that a lot of Afro textured hairstyles were banned, which they later had to overturn. So hopefully when it comes to the men, when it comes to the razors, etc., hopefully they are practicing different things by now. I haven't talked to anyone who's in the military today, but again, if you are in the military, let me know how that is going today. But in recent events, actually, when it comes to black men and their hair, their hairlines, etc., I have to speak on Tariq Nasheed, who basically he started a movement called the FBA movement, which basically is a movement for foundational black Americans to create our own heritage, also to fight for reparations, etc., which I am definitely all for. I actually covered Tariq Nasheed in more detail in another video, but what I am against is kind of his rhetoric that like anybody that's not from black, who's not from America, who's black, is a tether or an enemy of some sort or whatever, which, you know, I judge people based off an individual basis, because I don't believe all foreign black people are bad and all this type of rhetoric that he tries to push, because as we know, there are bad people within all racial groups, all nationalities, etc. Again, I don't believe in all that, but he likes to push this whole narrative of a quote-unquote tethered hairline. And a tethered hairline to him basically is, in men, a balding like hairline, and he tries to make the argument that people that are foundationally black Americans, we have, as the men, rather, they have a fuller hairline and our hair doesn't recede, which we know is absolutely ridiculous, because they're bald men, and all black men that shave their hair bald or just kind of have receding hairlines, and that's just kind of something that happens within men. So, but it is something that he is basically talking about, and it is a sign that may be contributing to some hair dysmorphia in a lot of men. It may be contributing to why a lot of men walk around, for example, with the hat fishing and all of that. But another talking point that I noticed just on YouTube, etc., is waves when it comes to men. So a lot of people were making the argument that they feel like when men were the waves, you can see the example of what waves are on the screen, but they feel like that is them dealing with some type of internalized texturism, etc., and that's how it shows up, because they are basically attempting to mimic a hair texture that is not of their own. I actually kind of disagree with that, because I kind of view just adding waves or the wave cream or whatever it's called and putting a silk scarf on your head, I actually believe you're just defining your coils. I kind of look at it similar to like a twist out or a braid out, and it again just shows the versatility of coily hair even in men. So I don't believe in that being some type of internalized texturism personally, but I'm interested to know what you think in the comment section. Do you think when men wear waves, do you think that that is part of some hair dysmorphia or some type of internalized texturism as well? Let me know again what you think down below. But in conclusion, I feel like black women are often ridiculed for our hair and even by our own men, when in reality we are all dealing with the side effects of living within a world of white supremacy. So basically, instead of going back and forth and arguing and debating and feeling like who's to blame, who's to this, I feel like we all should be more properly educated when it comes to our curly hair. It takes a lot of unlearning. I feel like a lot of patience need to be involved. But when it comes to Black women, because this is a Black woman channel, I feel like mothers, we know that we are the first teacher. So I feel like, again, we have to be careful with the vocabulary we use around our children, Black boys and Black girls, when it comes to how we treat and care and just love and talk about our hair. And even if you don't have children, we know that you can still be a mentor, you can be an auntie, you can be a cousin, a friend. There's so many other roles that women play outside of mother. So it is all of our responsibility as Black women to basically set a good example, because we know that change starts with one person at a time. So us, for example, changing the vocabulary around our hair, properly educating, unlearning a lot of these toxic things when it comes to some of the stuff that was pushed on us through as a society, etc. One person at a time. Once you change, then someone will see you change and they may be interested in your change, etc. But we all must contribute to the positive self-image of Black people. So again, starting with self, properly educating yourself, and then passing that on to the people around you, and then the people around them, and then the people around them, and then next thing you know, we have a whole grassroots movement, aka the curly community. But this is the end of this video. Be sure to leave anything that I may have forgotten when it comes to hair dysmorphia in men. Also, let me know your overall opinions about it. Do you think that this is something that exists in men? Yes or no? And also be sure to tell me why. But before I go, I also want to mention that my Coffee Cutie mugs have just came in, so I will be shipping them out within the next week. So be sure to head to my website to order yours today. Also, I just opened up my membership channel where I plan to do on-camera content. So be sure to sign up for my membership channel as well. Also, we are on the road to 5K subscribers. So be sure to tell a friend because we are lit over here. Any and all comments are welcome, as I don't police the comments. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But until next time, see ya.